I've been working through the components on my 122 Mark II one by one, and I had them laid out on this board that I work on, or that I do videos on mostly. And looking through there, I kind of thought it would be nice to do one of those pan shots like I see everybody doing on YouTube, which I like. And of course I don't have one of those camera rails or panning rails. And in the past, when I've tried to do this, like everybody, they all pretty much turn out looking just about like this, which isn't good. So I started to look around the shop at what I might have to help me do this without spending a day building it. And this is what I came up with. This is an old school method for, in this case, drawing an ellipse. I imagine this method is probably thousands of years old, and it works quite well. The way that I've made this is to have a beam that is slotted, and the pins are variable in length, and so the length and the width of the ellipse can be dialed in, and then the arc drawn. Now in this case, I'm using a pencil in the end of it. And it's very simple. The way it works is like I say, the length and the width is determined, and then the needed ellipse can be drawn. And what I would normally do is draw the ellipse on a board, a piece of plywood or MDF or something like that to create the pattern. And a lot of times I'll also use a router fixture for this that will let me cut the pattern out of like a 1/4 inch MDF or something directly without any intermediate steps. And I've got a number of these different sizes. Sometimes I'll use dovetails instead of slots. Just depends on what I'm needing at the time. But when the pencil is on the plywood or the large piece of paper, whatever, it just glides through there and makes what you need. And then the other point is you can measure your distance between the pins and then the distance to the end of the beam and transfer that to the other fixture. And so my thought is to use this to pan the camera in an elliptical arc rather than a straight or a curved section like a dolly would do. And so after I've got my dimensions determined, I just make 2 little glides that will go in there. Now that will be a lot smoother than the 2 pins. And so the idea is to trade, a long jerky motion for a short smooth motion. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So you can see I've got about a maybe 4 or 5 foot beam there, and I'll be moving it 5 or 6 feet, and the camera will be moving maybe 8 inches or 10 inches, something like that. So that's my scheme, and because I know nobody will be watching today because of the SB word that we're not allowed to say, along with the O word that we're not allowed to say. And because I've applied for trademark on the term "the big game," I'm hoping by next year I might be retired off the licensing fees. Okay, so let's set up the components and see how this thing works. Let's get a little corner window. You can watch the camera pivot. And of course, I'm counting on the autofocus to keep up, and it looks like it's doing okay. Not great, maybe. This gets set up. You know, now that I've tried this a few times, I realize that what I should have done is set up the components in an arc rather than leaving them straight like this. But that's okay. I'm just playing here. I'm practicing and learning, and this was an idea. It only took me a few minutes to make this beam up and the rest of the stuff I had. So I'm practicing. I'm figuring it out. It's more difficult than I thought to smoothly move that beam 6 feet or 5 feet. There are places where it kind of gets jittery and stuck, and it's also sliding around on this piece of carpet, so it needs to be affixed to the carpet somehow. And I also realized that my motion is too fast, but it's really difficult to judge it looking at the little TV screen on back of the camera. But that's okay. I'm just practicing here. Let's give this another go. Try to really be smooth this time. I'll come in again. The other thing I forgot to do was increase the frame rate on the camera so that I could also slow it down a little bit in software afterwards. Well, this is all part of the learning process. I think it will work, though. I think if I lay those components out in a semicircle and just figure out a simple way to drive that beam slowly, I think it'll work. And it might be an attractive shot, just maybe after everything gets put together and done. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe after it gets all back in the deck and running, I'll try one more. Yeah, it's really difficult to do. By hand, anyway. I'll be showing this Mark II in a future video as it gets closer to completion. I didn't film the process. I've already done one or two of these before, but I will do the results. Okay, so my best effort at it here, slowed down 80%, was about all I could do because it got jittery lower than that. But this is about the best I could get. And it's not good, but it's okay. I'm figuring it out. The other thing is I can slide the whole assembly now on this piece of carpet. So that's the other part of, not affixing it to the carpet, is being able to get a few different shots here. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'll end up doing it, but I'll try it again. And I did manage to get it back together and operational. Still got quite a bit left to do. Some cosmetic work and so forth, tidying up the wiring. But this has been a fun project. So I hope you like this, and thank you for watching.